If you don't get that camera out of my face, I'm going to knock it out of your hand.
Right, you do realise it's a public place.
And there's the police just there.
Yeah, there's the police over there. That was a threat. That was a threat.
That's been about
support the dairy industry. Over here.
Would you like to say something?
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Oh, thank you. Well, would you like to tell us why we should support the dairy industry?
Weston Super Mare, where this train terminates.
Cheers, Mark. Hey, thanks, Mark.
Why are you promoting a festival that relies on the incarceration of female? What are you laughing at? The incarceration of female dairy cows when they impregnate cows, mother cows, and take the calves away from them and the babies so that we can drink the milk. Evil it is, the dairy industry. It's evil. It's not even good for you either.
Hiya, I just wondered why you were here today.
I am here today because I think that the dairy industry represents some of the most wicked cruelty that there is, right? Breaking this bond between a mother and their child, I think is just some of the worst that us humans do, and we need to be their voices for them because they're locked in farms and in slaughterhouses.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm outside the Weston Dairy Festival today, basically doing some peaceful outreach. And, well, I'm letting the boards do the talking personally, but there are people here basically handing out flyers with information about the dairy industry to people who are either coming to the festival or just kind of hands. There's so many facts about the dairy industry that most people don't realise, and it's really shocking information. I personally didn't know a lot about the dairy industry until after I actually went plant-based, so it's that obscure sometimes. We just fed these lies about, oh, we need dairy, oh, it's good, oh, it's fine, it's natural. It's not any of those things, and we're just here to do our bit to say so.
So thank you. What sort of reception have you had from the police today?
From the police, a couple of police officers actually met us when we arrived, and they just wanted to make sure that we wouldn't be going into the festival and basically potentially causing any aggression, but that's not something we want to do anyway, so it's what we were planning to do anyway.
Right. And what about the public?
Yeah, the public's been mixed. We haven't had any aggression from the public whatsoever. Some people have been very interested. A lot of people have been reading the signs and taking leaflets. There have been a few mutterings of protesters, but that's been about
support the dairy industry. Over here.
Would you like to say something?
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Oh, thank you. Well, would you like to tell us why we should support the dairy industry, apart from fucking ourselves, sir? Sir, you can tell us how you'd like us to support the dairy industry apart from fucking ourselves. You've got a camera on you, so you can give us the benefit of your wisdom.
No interest in any of you. Okay. I think, you know, yes, you have a right to peaceful protest. You're fantastic. But come into an event where all you're doing is winding people up. You're deliberate.
There are real victims, aren't there? There are real victims who are suffering. Somebody has to be their voice for them, right? And we are their voice.
That cow isn't suffering. That cow.
This cow is a baby. Yes, she's a baby female and she's in a solitary confinement pen, right? She will stay here.
She's not in a solitary confinement pen. She's got another cow next to her.
So where's her mum? Where's her mum?
Away from her. She doesn't need to be with her at that age.
She only got a few weeks old. The cow doesn't need to be with her mum.
No.
Okay. So
Are you a farmer?
In the wild, they wouldn't be with their mum.
what evidence do you have to suggest that? These are babies.
If you don't get that camera out of my face, I'm going to knock it out of your hand.
Right, you do realise it's a public place.
You're being aggressive.
And there's the police just there.
Yeah, there's the police over there. That was a threat. That was a threat.
ladies that I spoke to earlier,
Yes.
I said to them,
Was that at the station?
yeah, I was quite reasonable in that, you know, everybody's entitled to protest peacefully, but also the people attending this event are also entitled to attend it peacefully without feeling harassed, alarmed or distressed, okay? And the only thing I asked was that you didn't set up or go into directly in front of this event. Excuse me.
We weren't given that information.
You know something funny? So the lady with the blonde hair over there, she is, when we give leaflets to people, she is saying to the people when they walk in there, she's saying, can I throw that out for you? Jesus Christ.
Well, it shows that we're having an impact, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Guys, I know that this is not your sort of like ideal sort of like situation, but I was just wondering if you'd like, in the interest of sort of like fairness and both sides of the story, if you'd like to sort of like say a few words about your position here?
No, thank you. Not particularly, no.
No?
No, thank you. No, I don't need to talk to any of you, I think.
I'm a journalist.
I mean, that's fine. I don't really feel.
So you don't want to. What about these guys? Are they security people? Do you think there's somebody inside who might like to have a chat? Right.
I mean, we don't have to talk. You can keep to yourselves. We've got our festival going on. We've got lots of people inside who are interested about learning about the dairy festival from farmers who take care of the cows.
Would you like to bring a farmer out here to talk?
No, because they're tending to the cows and doing shows and things like that. So we've got lots going on inside. We're just here making sure it all stays peaceful.
What do you think about the fact that one of your colleagues has been taking flyers out of people's hands and crumpling them up?
Nothing else to say, I'm afraid.
Hello.
I will.
Here to protest against this dairy festival, because the truth behind dairy is that it is the cause of a huge amount of pain, suffering, destruction. These animals are killed too soon. Mothers are consistently raped to produce baby calves. The baby calves are then taken away at much suffering. If it's a cow that's a female cow, she is milked and then her milk's taken away from her. There is so much pain and suffering in the dairy industry that we have to stop. And I'm here just to protest and be a voice for those voiceless animals. And a bit shouty, specifically dairy farmers. But even with the dairy farmers, we're keen to express that there are ways that they can convert their skills and take their farming skills to other areas. Sustainably, we can't even sustain dairy farming on the planet. We shouldn't be doing it for so many reasons.
Do you know, all we're saying is don't support the industry that relies on taking money away from
So, what are you doing here today?
So we're here outside of the Weston Dairy Festival, and we're telling people the truth about what actually happens inside the dairy industry. So you'll see they've got this image here, which is obviously meant to indicate how this kind of bucolic view of how cows live. In reality, they end up looking a bit more like that. The calves spend a big portion of their life by themselves in an isolation pen, and this is where every single cow in the dairy industry ends up, a slaughterhouse like that. I think most people, if they saw what happened inside any of these organisations, would want no part of it. And if people actually stop to talk to us, we can explain to them what goes on. And I think if they were being honest with themselves, they would probably stop partaking in any animal exploitation industry.
So, what sort of reception have you had from people so far today?
I mean, obviously there's a lot of kind of people from a farming background coming to attend. So even with pretty much no prompt from us, we've had lots of hostility from them. I mean, I've just offered people leaflets and been called a tosser. So I can tell you something of their psyche about their industry. They're obviously quite insecure about it, quite on the defensive. But then people who have no relation to the dairy industry have been taking leaflets. Many of them have had a look and then not gone in because they don't want to take part. So yeah, it's been quite effective, I would say.
And do you know anything about, were you stopped by the police at the station?
Yeah, we were actually, yeah.
And what happened?
Well, so there were, I think, 3 or 4 police officers when I got off. There were then 2 stood outside and a police van. They told us to stay away from the festival. They said we're allowed to protest, but we should stay away. And they also told us that because we'll be speaking to people whose livelihoods depend on torturing animals, that we should be careful because they might be aggressive. And then they called us agitators for offering people leaflets. So, yeah, I wouldn't say it was the finest display of police work.
So you're here at the Dairy Festival today. Can you tell me why you're here, please?
Well, I thought it was a very good opportunity. There are many families here, and I thought it would be very nice if we can educate people or help them understand what's going on with the dairy industry, and hopefully for a kinder world.
What do you think is the problem with the dairy industry?
Well, it's kind of like rely on animal abuse and obviously killing of the very young animals, which is very cruel. Most people don't know about that. Even many animal lovers don't know about that. So I thought it's a very good opportunity.
Okay, it's a public place.
Excuse me.
It's a public place. It's a public place. It's a public place.
Just stay away from the dairy industry. You know, they're impregnated to produce this milk, and then their babies are taken from them so that we can have it. I don't think your desire to have milk is more important than their desire to just be alive or to matter at all. They're treated like nothing. I mean, you can see there that word livestock. They're no different to stock on a shelf to these people, you know, and to us they exist and they matter and they have moral value. But we're just asking people if they feel the same way. When you're born, when you're a child, you instinctively feel that way, that they matter, and you would do anything to help animals if you saw them being harmed. You're then sent to school and you grow up partaking in animal torture, and then you lose that innocence and you lose that love for animals and that compassion for them. We're just asking people to realise that in their hearts they probably are a lot more compassionate for animals than they believe they actually are. I think people are actually already on board, and they just need to kind of realise that.
Thank you.
Amazing if local people did take a stand and sort of show that there's activism in Weston, that we do care as a community. We're having people tell us it's a rural community. I think it's really important to have that alternative viewpoint. We're not all accepting of the dairy industry, of the murder, of the rape, of the absolute abuse of these animals that are around, and there's such scope to show there is alternative. Our lands can be used for grazing, for growing crops for people, not for feeding animals. It's a simple thing. So the myth that these people are being allowed to perpetuate, I think, is very sad.
And what do you think, I mean, as a Westerner, somebody that lives in Weston, what do you feel about the attitude of the people that are running the festival and the police here?
My initial response has been they've been quite one-sided, and I think they're pro the festival. At the end of the day, they pay them money to be on these lawns. However, if some travellers came along, they'd have a very, very different perspective to people using the lawn. So it's almost, they're not particularly bothered by the morals of whatever the event is, as long as it puts money in the coffers, sadly.
And it's quite a big event, isn't it? I mean, do you have any idea?
It's got bigger every year, sadly. Yeah? And it seems to be like people are now paying. I think at one time it was free admission, now people are paying to get in. I find it really sad that we are not allowed to be directly there giving an alternative point of view and alternative information, because I suggest the majority of the general public are completely ill-informed when it comes to dairy, of the notion that cows magically produce milk, not that they are sort of like artificially inseminated to do that. And that's what I think we need to share, and all the positive alternatives we have now, all the plant-based options we now have. There is no excuse for
so they get killed and then they get dizzy.
You get one thing funny like that.
What pigeons I shoot with the shotgun, I go shooting. Who bothers talking to me, I'm a shooter.
Yeah, what are you doing with that camera?
Huh?
What's she doing with that camera thing? Okay, thank you very much. That's alright. I don't want to get into trouble, I'll get around.
So, why are you here today?
Well, I'm here today protesting against this league Weston Super Mare Dairy Festival, and I'm here protesting against the dairy industry because basically it's a very cruel industry. A lot of people don't realise that dairy cows end up as meat anyway, and the whole cattle thing across the planet is a major contributor to climate change because it is a huge emitter of methane, which is far more powerful than CO2. But the good thing about campaigning against the meat industry and the dairy industry is that if they stopped it, it is one of the fastest means of reducing the emissions in the atmosphere, because methane is only there about 10 years and CO2 is there hundreds of years. So that's why I'm here.
Don't take my phone.
It's a public place.
Yeah, well, I don't want you taking my photo.
It's a public place.
I don't give a flying fucking it's a public place. It's my photo and I've got the right to say no.
It's good that there is an actual protest happening. People are paying £2.50 a pop to come into this, and if there, I don't know how many thousands of people are coming. That's a lot of money. It's supposed to be going to some kind of like farmers charity. I've spoken to the people at the gate and they have repeatedly said that they don't want to put their position, they don't want to bring a farmer out to speak, and that's a bit of a shame because we'd like to tell both sides of the story. But what can you do?